was my chance to make sure my voice got heard in the legal process. Reading the victim impact statement took me an entire weekend locked in my apartment with my laptop. Alessandro had sent me a template and guidelines, but I still struggled with how to put everything into formal language for a judge to read. I described waking up in the hospital with no memory of what happened after sitting down to Thanksgiving dinner. I detailed finding the audio recording and hearing my own voice get confused and slurred right before the thud of my body hitting the floor. I wrote about discovering that my family had drugged me, staged my unconscious body, taken photos, and then lied to paramedics and police. The ongoing trauma of knowing they violated me while I was helpless got its own paragraph. Every sentence felt exhausting and painful to write, but I also felt clear and purposeful rather than victimized. This was my chance to make sure my voice got heard in the legal process. The judge needed to understand what Uncle and the family had actually done, not just read dry charges on a page. The defense team made one last attempt to intimidate me the week before the plea hearing was scheduled. Their lawyer sent Alessandro a letter threatening to drag my private life and past relationships into trial testimony if we didn't accept a more lenient plea deal. They'd question my credibility, my motives, my mental state, everything. Alessandro called me immediately after receiving it, and I could hear the anger in his voice even though he kept his words professional. He told them to do their worst because my credibility was supported by physical evidence, witness testimony, medical records, and audio recordings. Character assassination wouldn't change the facts. I braced myself for the possibility of public humiliation anyway. My fear spiked sharp and hot when I imagined strangers reading lies about me in court transcripts. But then it steadied back down as I remembered that telling the truth mattered more than protecting my privacy. Let them try their tactics. The evidence would speak for itself. Judge Ramirez accepted the negotiated plea deal at a hearing I attended with Alessandro sitting next to me at the prosecutor's table. Uncle stood up in his suit and tie, looking smaller somehow than he had at Thanksgiving dinner. He pled guilty to felony witness tampering and possession of illicit images. The other counts got placed on something Alessandro called nolle prosequi, which meant the charges were dismissed but could be refiled if Uncle violated the terms of his plea agreement. The resolution felt hollow in my chest because it wasn't full justice for everything he'd done to Kelly and to me. But relief washed through me anyway, knowing he'd admitted guilt in open court and would face real consequences. Sentencing happened 2 weeks later on a cold morning in the same courtroom. I sat in the gallery with Margot on one side and Detective Goodwin on the other. Judge Ramirez went through the sentencing calculations methodically. 3 years in state prison for the witness tampering charge, 5 years for the possession charge. The sentences would run consecutively, meaning Uncle had to serve them one after the other, not at the same time. 8 years total behind bars, plus lifetime sex offender registration that would follow him forever, plus a permanent no-contact order with Kelly, her daughter, and me. Relief made my whole body shake as I listened to the judge detail each consequence. I had to grip the wooden bench with both hands to keep myself steady. The registration requirement meant Uncle would never be able to hide what he was from neighbors, employers, or anyone who looked him up. That felt like real protection, even though I knew no sentence could actually undo the harm he'd caused.